How to Diet and Do It Correctly, Episode 3. Forming Better Habits and Benefiting from Dopamine. Yo bar, what's up and what's happening? Welcome back to It's the Yo Bar series with me, Chris Harding. What's happening? I hope you guys and girls have been well and you have been smashing your goals and setting yourself new challenges since I last saw you. And if you haven't been setting yourself any goals or any challenges, then why is that? I wonder what I could set myself as a challenge. Run the fastest mile? Nah. Eat the biggest hot dog known to man? Nah. Marry Tom Cruise? What? Where did I get that from? Get more subscribers to my YouTube channel? Yeah, boy. Anyway, today in episode 3 of How to Diet and Do It Correctly, we're going to be looking at habits, how to form them, and how hormones such as dopamine help us achieve healthier habits and also goals. Okay, bloody intro already. So guys, in this episode, I'm going to be breaking down habits, why we form them and how we create new ones to better ourselves, to better our goals, and not only just in fitness and in diet, but also within our lifestyle. Also, within this episode, we're going to be looking at the hormone dopamine and how we can stimulate it and make it work better for our health and also creating better habits. Lastly, we're going to look at healthy ways in which we can employ new habits and benefit from our hormones to improve our overall performance and drive towards a better lifestyle and a healthier body. Now, because this episode explores such wide subjects, I've decided to split this episode into 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. So that the segments of this episode are easier for you to digest, like custard or something. So our first question is, what is a habit? And more importantly, how do habitual patterns affect our lives in a positive and also in a negative way? Habits, or a person's habitual traits, are not just characteristics that are considered to be good or bad. Just because a person has either learnt them or been taught them doesn't necessarily mean that is a habit. Actually, habits are governed by the brain, and they are governed by hormones such as dopamine and serotonin, and we create those hormones within the brain and also within the body. In very simple terms, a habit is a physical or mental routine or repetition, if you like, that a person has formed in their daily lifestyle to either benefit from or it has been created for a purpose. Habits can be seen in practice, such as a certain movement in a sport or technique that the individual is trying to learn, or even perhaps have developed a detrimental or positive pattern that they repeat in frequency. Such as the person has learned something that may have stemmed from childhood, social surroundings, or through necessity at a particular time in their life. We can also look at human patterns, traits and habits as emotional defense mechanisms, ways to feel secure, ways to deflect attention or even to attract attention. They can be coping mechanisms, such as ways in which to deal with stress and also anxiety. Or they can be patterns that offer great joy and happiness when done or performed by the individual. But what we want to look at is how a habit or a pattern can affect a person's dietary intake for the benefit of their health, or how it can become detrimental to a person. And finally, we are going to conclude this episode with ways to create new and better habits and ways to debunk old and useless habits that need to be kicked into touch. So guys, before I continue, if you wouldn't mind liking the video and also subscribing to the channel, that will help the algorithm and also help me create new content for you guys. That will be amazeballs. So, I'm going to share with you a personal fact about me that by the end of it may give you some food for thought. And if it doesn't leave you in tears, then you are one cold son of a bitch. I'm joking. Now, in order to help you guys understand how bad a habit can become, I'll share a story about my bad habitual traits that saw me drop from a healthy 160 pounds to 98 pounds, or 73 kilograms to 44.5 kilograms in the space of about 12 to 14 months. And by the end of it, was diagnosed as anorexia by the time I was 18 years old. My relationship with food altered dramatically because I had been suffering with an autoimmune disease called ulcerative colitis that had plagued my early to mid-teens and caused me quite a lot of anxiety and also physical or internal discomfort around my health and well-being in general. Before I became a personal trainer and nutrition coach, I was relatively active, but actually probably somewhat overweight and not really into sports. Yeah, I wasn't that fit. So from quite a young age, I had a negative or relatively negative experience with my health. And that was in the form of a disease that kept me in hospital for 8 weeks. And I was also potentially facing an irreversible operation to remove my lower colon. So after recovering from my stint in hospital, as I said, for roughly about 8 weeks, I decided to get fit and also to eat healthier. And this was to help improve my overall health and also to help deal with my autoimmune disease that had been, quite frankly, a pain in my ass. This negative experience I had with my health, however, was the beginning of my poor relationship with food and also a descent into what was labelled as anorexia for roughly about 4 years, possibly more. What I really want to talk about is the habit that I had created around food and the way in which it grew within my psyche, how a bad habit actually gave me a sense of security and an emotional attachment to an aggressive addiction to starvation, which is also known as anorexia. Looking back on my journey with anorexia, I honestly can see 2 modes of thought process. The first being the pre-nutrition coach that can see why I thought starving myself felt like a good idea because it was making me thin, and in a warped way, I felt like I was helping my autoimmune disease. And in the second mode of thought, the qualified nutrition coach, so the post-nutrition coach, who can't believe how stupid I was to even think that what I was doing was beneficial or even a good idea. So what I want to delve into and discuss with you, and using me as a catalyst for change, is why did I turn a negative situation into an even worse situation and then eventually back into a positive that actually gave me a greater understanding of nutrition and scope into becoming a coach or an ambassador for nutrition or something like that. So guys, I think it's important just to pause here for a second and understand that my experiences with my autoimmune disease, ulcerative colitis, probably did spawn or start my sort of downward spiral with anorexia, which lasted for roughly about 4 years. However, what I would like to say is that from those times, it actually made me want to research nutrition more and look into more knowledge around nutrition and also diet. And that actually helped me sort of climb out of that hole that is anorexia. And that also I probably do still carry those traits even today. Some of those traits, although negative, have actually quite vastly helped me stay in shape, watch what I eat, watch my calories, watch my macros, and also understand my calories and also my macros, which in turn has helped me create a career and have a fantastic job. So guys, if we go back to my first point at the beginning of this video, I said that in very simple terms, a habit is a physical or mental routine or repetition, if you like, that a person has formed in their daily lifestyle to either benefit from or it has been created for a purpose. Thanks. When I am coaching with clients to do with their diet and nutrition, the one thing I notice over and over again is the fact that our food habits and traits are developed undoubtedly around our emotions towards our relationship between us and also food. And if you think about it, no two people actually eat the same food. But why is that? It's because our emotions, our likes and dislikes, our tastes and textures are all very different. And our emotions and habits are not only formed by those choices, but they also govern our choices. Our emotions govern the food that we choose to eat and why we choose to eat it. And that leads us nicely onto our headline topic for today: forming better habits and benefiting from dopamine. It's a hormone that all science communities and YouTube related channels are buzzing about. It's a buzzword at the moment, and how it can be understood better and how also it can help you in your journey into creating a healthier you. Adaption Training and it's the Yobar series YouTube channel feel exactly the same when it comes to feeling excited and positive about the greater understanding of what dopamine's potential can do for people who are looking to lose weight. But not only not to lose weight, but also to improve their lifestyle and their general well-being through better habits and creating better habits through understanding the hormone dopamine.
It's the Yoba series.